All right, so let's actually utilize this bootstrap we connected. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is make a div class container, like so. And everything is going to go inside of this class container here. And I'm just going to, go the other way with it. All right, doesn't want to go that way. Oops. Okay. Everything's going to go inside this container. So basically anything that's inside this container will be treated as Bootstrap. If it's outside of this, it will not be part of the system. So basically everything we're going to make is going to go inside of this now div class, okay? The next thing we do is we make rows for each row of our design. So if you remember, how many rows were there? I don't know. But so we're going to make a row, and then we're going to determine how many columns we want, okay? So it's going to be div class and then row, like this. Okay? And we do those for each row across. Now, if you were to look at our image that we had before, that image goes across one full thing. Okay? So, what I'm going to do now is inside my row, I'm going to put each column. All right? Each section, and then say how many columns it is. So it's going to be div class, and this will be col dash 12, because I want it to be 12 columns wide. And then inside of here is where we put our actual content. So I'm just going to go ahead and use an H3, and I'm just going to write nav bar. And I want that to be my nav bar. And that one just is one full span. So each row has 12 total columns in it. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? All the way across. So I made this one so that it is a full 12 columns. All right? And then we're just going to do the same thing for the next row. So the next row, if you remember, we had that one big picture, and that's meant to just be a carousel. So I'm just going to go ahead, and after this one, I like to put a space in so that I know that it's a row. So div class, again, row. Okay? And then inside of that row, we want to put how many columns. Now, if we were to look at that image that we have, we can see that it's actually spanning 8 columns. Okay, so I want to span 8 columns. So div class, and it's going to be col dash 8. Okay, let me just make sure you keep your formatting nice and clean. It just makes things easier. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put an H3, and we'll just call this carousel. Okay, so I know that that's the carousel. All right, now if you look, it has to equal 12. So if I only made this 8, I should probably let me grab that picture. Looks like I was wrong. This only went 10 columns, and then it's 1 column off. But I'm just going to mine go the full 12. Even though this doesn't go 12 columns. But if you look at this one, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not 8. But I'm just going to have it go 8 anyway. So we're going to do 8 columns across for this. But you'll see then it would be offset by 2 columns. So we actually need to fix that. What we can do is I could put another dummy column in here. Or there's another class that we can put in here as well called offset dash 2. And that will actually push it 2 columns over. And then this one will be 8 columns across. And since it's 2, then 8, that leaves 2 left over. So that'll put this right in the center. Okay? So now let's do another row. So div class row. This is our next row. Okay? And then inside of this, we want to do our columns. So div class. And just so you get an idea, if you look, this one we have 4 sections that we're going to do. Okay, these are both just 1, right? There's only 1 item in this row. This actually has 4 items in its row, and each one of them span 1, 2, 3 columns. Then it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You get the idea. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so if it's 3 columns, so we'll do col dash 3. And then inside of here, again, I'm just going to do an H3 just so that these are just labels. These are going to get removed. And we'll just say item 01. And rather than having to do this every time, I'm just going to, well, we'll do another one and then we'll copy and paste it. So inside of that row still, where these only had one column in these, this is going to have multiple column sections. So we'll just do the same thing again, div class, and then it's going to be col-3, and then inside of there, we'll just call it h3, and it will be item 02. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, Control-C, Control-V, Control-V. Make sure you fix the formatting. And then this will be item 3 and item 4. So if you were to add these all up, right, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12. And you can see that spans, 3, 3, 3, 3, and that's one row. So now we did this row. So now let's do another row. Div, class, row. And then inside of here, it's going to be div, scroll down a little bit, div, class, and then col. And then if we look again at our illustration, you'll see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's going to be 2 sections, and each one is 6, because it always equals 12. Okay, so col-6, like so. And then we'll just do again an H3, and I'll just call this paragraph 01. And then I'm just going to copy it for the other one. Control-C, Control-V. Again, fix the formatting like that. And now you'll see we have 2 paragraph sections that come across, a nav bar, a carousel, and so on and so forth. Now, it's a little bit hard to actually tell what we have here, so let's add a little bit of CSS just to make this easier. Now, I could use the CSS that's in here, that's the external, but I find when I'm working on this, at least initially, I just like to make it internal so it's right here. So I'm just going to go inside the head, maybe after the link here, I'm just going to go ahead and add the style tag. Oops, got to close it. There we go. And then we'll just go ahead and we're just going to, make a class that we're just going to apply to everything. So we'll call it wire block, because it's kind of like the wireframe that we're making currently. And we want to add a background color, and I'm just going to call it gray. This is just so we can see it. This doesn't actually hold any value. We're going to remove this eventually. It's just for the purposes of being able to see it. Then we'll do border hyphen color, and we'll do light gray, and then we'll do border style, and we'll just do solid, and then we just need border width, border hyphen width, and let's just do 2 pixels. Okay, and just to make this smaller, I'm going to go like that, and we'll call that good. Okay, now we just need to apply this class that we made to all of these. So it's just wire block. So I'm just going to go and I want to put it on each column. So what you're going to do to put more than one class is you put a space in between like we did here. So this has offset and it has this. So to add this class, I'm going to put a space there and type in wire block. And you're going to see there it pops up. And I'm just going to go ahead and actually copy that. Control-C. And then I'm just going to paste that in every row. So after that, Control-V. And then, not there, sorry, there, Control-V, there, Control-V, space. Make sure you put a space in between, otherwise it won't work. Control-V, basically in every one of these, Control-V. And now I can see how the layout is. So these are just placeholders, but we get an idea that, okay, so this is going to span all the way across. This is going to be this size, and these are going to be this size. And if I click on this button here, you can see the full expanse of it. And if I, is this one? Let me see. Come on. Ugh, it's very small. If I go like this, you can see I can, it's scalable. So it's going to scale to the width, the size of the window here. Let's just make it small, and then we'll pull this back up. This will be a little bit easier this way. Okay, but we got a general layout, right? So you can see it's kind of working. So we've got the general layout here, and that's good. So now what we want to do is just kind of tidy this up a little bit more, and we'll eventually add actual elements in there for our base wireframe here.